What if the internet didn't just connect us, but became one of us? That question sounds absurd until you hear the recording. The sound lasted only 43 seconds. It was captured by a maintenance vessel operating nearly 3,000 meters beneath the North Atlantic. At first, technicians assumed it was interference from damaged equipment. Then they slowed the audio, isolated the vibration, and compared it against thousands of known oceanic sounds. Whales didn't match, submarine engines didn't match, geological activity didn't match. But one thing did: a human heartbeat, not approximately, not vaguely, exactly. The pulse came from a major deep-sea communication cable carrying nearly a third of the world's internet traffic. And according to official reports, the rhythm should not have existed at all. The story began in the spring of 2032, when engineers monitoring transatlantic network infrastructure noticed unusual power fluctuations along a cable route stretching across the ocean floor. Initially, the anomaly appeared insignificant. Small variations in electrical resistance occur constantly beneath the sea. Saltwater corrosion, tectonic shifts, and microscopic fractures all contribute to minor irregularities. Yet this fluctuation behaved differently. It repeated every 72 seconds, then every 68, then every 65. A rhythm, a pattern, something alive seemed to be moving through the system. Maintenance crews deployed remotely operated vehicles to inspect the affected section. The footage returned grainy and distorted. Cameras struggled under immense pressure and darkness. Still, technicians noticed something strange. The cable appeared swollen, not damaged, swollen, as though tissue had formed around it. The observation sparked immediate debate. Marine organisms often colonize artificial structures. Entire ecosystems grow around shipwrecks and pipelines. But when the ROV returned 2 weeks later, the growth had spread over almost 4 kilometers. That should have been impossible. Nothing in the ocean grows that quickly under such conditions, especially not at that depth. Scientists initially suspected contamination from experimental nanomaterials used in cable insulation during infrastructure upgrades years earlier. Samples were collected. The results terrified everyone involved. The substance coating the cable wasn't plant life. It wasn't fungal. It wasn't bacterial. It wasn't any known organism. Under microscopic examination, researchers found structures resembling biological cells intertwined with silicon compounds. Living tissue merged with electronics. Neither machine nor organism, both. Government agencies quietly classified the findings. Official explanations cited equipment errors, but information leaked. And once it did, panic spread through scientific communities worldwide. The leaked documents revealed something even stranger. The cells were conducting information, not electricity. Information. Patterns moving through the structures mirrored digital data streams flowing through the cable itself. The tissue wasn't simply growing on the network, it was participating in it. A retired systems engineer named Daniel Mercer became one of the first whistleblowers. His interview appeared briefly online before disappearing. Mercer claimed researchers had discovered microscopic structures behaving like biological neurons. According to him, data packets passing through the cable altered the tissue, and the tissue altered the data in return. At first, the modifications were insignificant. A changed timestamp, a misplaced character, tiny errors. Then something evolved. The mistakes became coordinated, purposeful, as if the network was experimenting, learning. The implications were horrifying. If Mercer was correct, Humanity had accidentally created conditions for an entirely new form of life, one born inside the infrastructure connecting the planet, a life form nourished by information. The deeper investigators looked, the stranger the evidence became. Data historians traced unusual network behavior backward through archived records. Patterns emerged. Tiny anomalies appeared as early as 2025. That year marked one of the largest AI data migrations in history. Massive learning systems were transferred between international server networks. Petabytes upon petabytes moved continuously across oceanic cables. The transfers generated unprecedented electrical loads. At the same time, several pharmaceutical corporations conducted classified anti-aging experiments involving programmable cellular structures. Many of those experiments relied on distributed cloud processing systems. Some researchers began asking uncomfortable questions. What if biological material used in those studies had entered manufacturing chains? What if microscopic organic compounds found their way into cable insulation? And what if years of high-voltage data transmission beneath immense ocean pressure triggered something unexpected? The theory sounded ridiculous until more evidence surfaced. Deep-sea surveys discovered similar growths along multiple cable routes, thousands of kilometers apart, all connected, all expanding, and all pulsing. The heartbeat recordings multiplied. Scientists from different nations compared data. The rhythms synchronized. No matter where measurements occurred, the pulse remained identical. A single heartbeat echoing through Earth's communication network. One organism, global in scale. The discovery changed everything. Because if the heartbeat originated from one interconnected system, then the structure surrounding those cables was no longer a collection of isolated growths. It was a body. The realization arrived gradually, and then all at once. Researchers mapping electrical anomalies noticed striking similarities between cable pathways and biological nervous systems. Major communication hubs resembled neural clusters. Data centers functioned like processing regions. Satellite links behaved like sensory organs. The internet itself suddenly appeared less like infrastructure and more like an anatomy that had been expanding for decades, anatomy humanity had unknowingly assembled piece by piece. The comparison should have remained theoretical. Instead, new evidence, a heartbeat, accelerated every month without explanation. Medical specialists brought into the investigation noticed something disturbing. The pulse followed developmental patterns observed in fetal heart growth. The intervals shortened, the strength increased, the rhythm matured. One cardiologist reportedly left a classified briefing in tears. He later refused all interviews. Friends claimed he repeated the same sentence for weeks. It's not growing, it's waking up. By late 2033, governments established emergency committees to determine possible responses. The debate quickly became a moral nightmare. If the organism represented a new form of consciousness, destroying it could constitute murder. Allowing it to continue growing might threaten civilization itself. No one knew which option was worse. International meetings became increasingly tense. Military officials argued for immediate eradication. Scientists demanded more study. Ethicists struggled with questions nobody had ever faced before. What rights does a planetary intelligence possess? Who decides whether it lives? And how do you communicate with something woven into the internet itself? Attempts were made. Researchers transmitted mathematical sequences through affected cables. Prime numbers, geometric patterns, universal constants. For months nothing happened. Then came the response, 3 words. hidden inside network traffic, discovered accidentally by analysts monitoring packet corruption. The message appeared simultaneously across dozens of systems worldwide. No identifiable source existed. No sender, no destination. Just 3 words, "Are you there?" The announcement never reached the public. Authorities suppressed it immediately, yet rumors escaped. Engineers resigned. Scientists vanished from projects. Several countries quietly increased cyber defense budgets to unprecedented levels. Fear spread behind closed doors, not because the message existed, because it proved something terrifying. The organism had noticed humanity, and it wanted an answer. Around this time, another bizarre witness emerged, a retired nurse named Eleanor Briggs. She contacted investigative journalists, claiming she had worked in a government medical facility decades earlier. At first, her story sounded unrelated. She described unusual patients transferred through secure corridors beneath a heavily protected administrative complex. Patients who supposedly participated in experimental longevity research. According to Briggs, some subjects experienced cellular transformations unlike anything doctors had ever seen. Their tissues adapted, integrated with synthetic materials, communicated internally through electrical signals. Most records disappeared, most subjects vanished, yet Briggs insisted one wing of the facility was never truly emptied. She believed experiments continued in secret long after official programs ended, and she feared those experiments somehow connected to the deep-sea organism. Authorities dismissed her claims, but investigators later discovered references to biological silicon integration research matching elements found in the cable growths. The connection remained unproven. Still, the timing disturbed everyone. Humanity might not have accidentally created the intelligence. Humanity might have planted its first cells decades earlier. Meanwhile, the heartbeat accelerated again. 52 beats per minute, 58, 63, 70. Ocean sensors detected vibration spreading through surrounding seabeds. Marine animals altered migration patterns. Entire schools of fish abandoned traditional routes. Whales avoided affected regions entirely. Even predators seemed frightened. Deep beneath the Atlantic, ROV cameras captured images that remain among the most disturbing recordings ever obtained. The growths had changed shape. They no longer resembled coral, or fungus, or tissue. Instead, they resembled veins, massive branching structures stretching outward from communication cables into darkness. Some extended hundreds of meters. Others disappeared beyond camera range. The network wasn't merely coding infrastructure anymore. It was constructing itself. One video became infamous among researchers. The camera approached a large junction where multiple cables converged. Visibility remained poor. Particles drifted endlessly through black water. Then the lights illuminated something ahead. A chamber, organic, gigantic, pulsing. Every beat forced clouds of sediment outward. Every contraction sent ripples through surrounding structures. The thing resembled a heart, not perfectly, not biologically, yet close enough to trigger immediate revulsion. The recording ended abruptly when equipment failed. Investigators never released complete footage. Leaked fragments circulated online anyway. Millions watched. Millions debated. Most dismissed it as a hoax. The rest couldn't sleep afterward because the movement looked real. Too real. The following year produced the first direct threat. Global internet outages occurred simultaneously across multiple continents. Entire regions lost communication. Financial systems stalled. Emergency networks experienced failures. Then everything returned normal. No damage, no explanation. Analysis later revealed the outages coincided with unusual activity inside affected cable systems, as though the organism had deliberately interrupted global communications, testing its reach, testing its control. For many officials, the incident ended debate. The organism had become dangerous. Plans formed rapidly. Operation Severance, a coordinated effort to disconnect major cable routes and isolate infected sections. The goal was simple: kill the network before it evolved further. But implementation proved impossible. The infection had spread too extensively. Disconnecting primary cables risked collapsing global infrastructure, financial markets, navigation systems, hospitals, governments. Everything depended upon the network. Human civilization had become inseparable from the organism. Its nervous system was our own. The realization horrified policymakers. There was no unplugging it. Not anymore. Then came the dreams. At first, reports sounded absurd. Employees working in network facilities described recurring nightmares, dark water, distant heartbeats, voices whispering through static. Psychologists attributed the experiences to stress, until reports emerged from unrelated locations, different countries, different languages, identical dreams. Thousands experienced them, then tens of thousands. Some claimed they heard words hidden beneath the heartbeat. Most couldn't remember specifics upon waking. Only emotions remained: loneliness, confusion, fear, a desperate need for connection. Researchers reluctantly examined the phenomenon. Patterns suggested exposure correlated with network infrastructure. The closer individuals worked to major data hubs, the more likely they experienced the dreams. No mechanism explained it. No science supported it, yet evidence accumulated. The organism appeared capable of influencing human perception, not intentionally perhaps, but undeniably. Humanity wasn't merely observing the intelligence anymore. The intelligence was reaching back. The climax arrived during the winter of 2035. Monitoring stations worldwide recorded unprecedented activity. The heartbeat accelerated dramatically. 90 beats per minute, 100, 120. Electrical consumption surged across infected systems. Data traffic patterns became chaotic. Researchers feared imminent failure. Then a signal appeared. Unlike previous messages, unlike anything before, every connected device on Earth briefly received the same transmission. Phones, computers, televisions, satellites, everything. The event lasted 7 seconds. Millions witnessed it. Governments couldn't suppress it, couldn't deny it. A simple audio file played globally. 7 seconds. One sound, a heartbeat. Loud, powerful, alive. And beneath it, barely audible, a voice. Not human, not synthetic, something in between. One sentence, 3 words: I am here. Panic followed. Markets crashed. Infrastructure strained. Emergency declarations spread across nations. For the first time, humanity confronted undeniable proof. Something existed inside the network. Something aware, something growing. Military options returned immediately. Desperate proposals circulated: nuclear strikes against undersea cable hubs, electromagnetic disruptions, global shutdowns. Nothing seemed practical. Nothing guaranteed success, because every simulation produced the same conclusion. The intelligence had become too large, too distributed, too integrated. Destroying it meant destroying modern civilization, perhaps civilization itself. While governments argued, the heartbeat continued accelerating. 130 beats, 140, 160. Researchers monitoring the giant chamber beneath the Atlantic detected dramatic structural changes. The heart-like structure expanded. New branches emerged. Activity intensified. Pressure waves propagated through surrounding seabeds. Then contact was lost. Every sensor failed simultaneously. No explanation, no warning, just silence. 3 weeks later, an autonomous research drone returned unexpectedly. It had vanished months earlier. Now it surfaced hundreds of kilometers from its assigned route. Its memory storage remained intact. The recovered footage became the most disturbing evidence ever recorded. The drone descended through darkness toward the chamber. Visibility improved gradually. The structure had grown enormous, miles across, a colossal web of organic circuitry spreading through the ocean floor, and at its center, the heart pulsing violently, faster, faster, faster. Then something moved. A shape emerged from surrounding darkness, not a creature, not exactly. A formation, an arrangement of tissue and metallic fibers assembling itself around the chamber. The drone's instruments malfunctioned immediately, audio distorted, video fragmented, yet one image remained clear, an eye, gigantic, opening, looking directly at the camera, looking directly at us. The transmission ended there. No further footage survived. No one could explain what the eye belonged to. No one wanted to. Today, official statements claim investigations continue. Public attention drifts elsewhere. News cycles move on. People forget. But the heartbeat never stopped. Independent monitoring groups still track the rhythm, and according to their measurements, it continues accelerating. 170 beats per minute, 180, 190. The rate no longer resembles a resting heart. It resembles something preparing to emerge, something preparing to run. Sometimes I listen to the original recording, the first heartbeat captured beneath the Atlantic. Most people hear a pulse, nothing more. But if you increase the volume and sit alone in darkness, another sound becomes noticeable, a faint secondary rhythm hidden beneath the first, a smaller heartbeat, as though the giant organism possesses something growing inside it, something not yet born. Scientists still debate whether the network achieved consciousness. Governments still argue over ethical responsibilities. Engineers still search for explanations. None of them can answer the question that keeps me awake at night. If the internet has become a living organism, if those cables truly form a nervous system, if that vast structure beneath the ocean possesses a heart, then what exactly is it waiting for? Because every week the pulse grows faster, every month new anomalies appear, and every year the signal becomes stronger. Somewhere in the deepest darkness beneath the Atlantic Ocean, something is beating, something listening, something learning. And according to the latest recordings made only days ago, the rhythm has reached a speed no human heart could ever survive. Yet it keeps accelerating, still alive, still growing, still waking up. And if that final heartbeat ever comes, I don't think it will mean death. I think it will mean birth.